My name is Stephen Wale Olomola. This presentation examines the media system in Kenya, under the media policy and regulation approach. This slide talks about Kenya media system. The presentation gives an overview of the various laws and regulations that affect media in Kenya. These include media acts and laws. It also presents Kenya media system ranging from pre-colonial, colonial, and contemporary era. Like other African countries, Kenya acts travel the torture path at bullying media, but at the same time managing to maintain vibrant media outlets from pre-colonial, colonial, and contemporary government. Pre-colonial forerunners. 1927, the broadcast media in Kenya started with the establishment of a radio station by colonial government. Also, September 17, 1930, the oldest Kucha newspaper, Brasa, was founded. The colonial government adopted draconian laws, such as the Newspaper Ordinance 1906, to deal with harsh political realities of the time in Kenya media socio-political system in order to silence indigenous elite opinions. Colonial era medians law. 1910, the colonial media generally excluded indigenous African voice. Also, the colonial government strictly controlled the censor radio program since inception in 1927. Colonial era law. 1952, colonial government declared a state of emergency in Kenya, and all Kenya media newspapers were banned. Kenya Broadcasting Services, KBS, was established in 1959 to regulate media system. The government banned of its own mouthpiece, the Pan-African magazine, because of fear of internal criticism, which illustrates its intolerance towards media system in Kenya. Post-independent policy. Between 1988 and 1990, about 20 publications were strictly and completely banned in Kenya media system. This was a setback to opposition figures to express their dissatisfaction through media. This slide talks about independent policy. Kenya got independent in 1963. Masses excluded from mass media. Also, the same year, 1963, 14 minutes were allocated to free political parties to broadcast their campaign. Post-independent policy. 1963, opposition parties were compelled to submit in advance script and pre-recorded videos. Also, December 12, 1963, the foreign personalities were restricted to own and control mass media in contemporary era regulation. Restrictions on air for 38 hours per week on paid TV station and limited hour on radio broadcast. In 1980s, Kenya government banned 20 publications and massive media content. The government-controlled regulatory board can fine journalists up to 500,000 kwacha. Media houses fine up to 20 million kwacha if the board find them breach of a government law. Contemporary media regulators. In 1998, Kenya Information and Communications Act was formed. Also in 1999, Communications Commission of Kenya was established. Contemporary press law. The Attorney General set up a first task force on press law in 1993 to review and make recommendations on press law, providing for a comprehensive legal framework which only targeted against opposition. post-independence law and penalty. This slide talks about how Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta had signed into a law, a bill that criminalizes abuse on social media and spread of false information in Kenya media system. Contemporary Kenya media regulators also. 2009, the Kenya Communications Broadcasting Regulations was founded. Also in 2010, Kenya Information and Communication Tariff Regulations was established in Kenya. This talk about sanctity of the Kenya heart, which it prohibits the media from telling the truth. It also a clawback to freedom as it stops the media from performing their job freely and effectively in Kenya. Contemporary regulation. In March 2006, hooded policemen raided the offices of the Standard newspaper and Kenya Television Network, claiming concerns about internal security in Kenya media system. This about conclusion and reference. It is concluded that Kenya media severely and actually restricts mass media, press freedom, and breach the constitutional protection granted journalists and media houses